Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube.com. It is good old MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony the Hitman Florio. I did send an invite to Michael Bullock, and I don't believe he'll be here on the show tonight, but that's all right. I was gonna set, however, after the news that broke out earlier today, I don't think there is going to be a Mikey's Mindset. We're going to focus on just SmackDown Live tonight, but we're going to talk about one thing and one thing only for a little bit. It's the biggest news of the day. It broke out a little bit before 3 p.m. Eastern Time today. WWE has announced that the medical doctors and the medical staff of World Wrestling Entertainment has cleared Daniel Bryan to once again become an active wrestler in WWE, and this thing spreaded like wildfire when news broke out. Celebrations beyond belief from around the world has started. Yes, I was hearing a whole bunch of yes chants in East Providence, Rhode Island, in Seekonk, Massachusetts, and in probably in Alliance, Ohio, and any part of the world. It also got out to our friends in the UK. There was some comments over there as well. And then going into SmackDown Live, well, it was only fitting from the American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas. It started with Daniel Bryan speaking to the WWE Universe. And I got to say it, man, it was the most powerful, emotional, unbelievable story of the night, segment of the year for SmackDown Live 2018. If you thought the retirement was unbelievable, this was amazing. It talked about how Daniel was about to give up, how Daniel just was like he wanted another opportunity, wanted those chances, wanted everything to go on. And he talked about, well, it was my wife. It was Bree. Bree was the one who told me see a doctor. Bree was told me to get another opinion, get another opinion. Fight for what you believe in. Fight for what you want. And if it wasn't for my wife, I would not be where I'm at today. Because of her, I am back in WWE as a wrestler. And without a doubt, it, it, I don't even need to say anything else. For her to say thank you, Brie, yes. Thank you, Brie Bella. Thank you, Brie Danielson. Because of the fact that, you know, for at least 2 years now, we were hoping and praying and knew one day Daniel was going to come back to the ring. But I think none of us expected him to be back in a WWE ring. I think Ring of Honor. We were thinking New Japan Pro Wrestling. We were thinking that uh, Evolve show that's supposed to be coming up in September in Chicago that was being brought by the Bullet Club and that kind. They were talking about maybe something there. No, Daniel Bryan is back with WWE and he's going to be fighting in WWE. Now, we don't know when. I guess that's the big question is now, when is he coming back? When is he going to be able to compete again in the ring and battle? Obviously, the first question or the first thing that popped in all of our minds was WrestleMania. Why not? It's the was made. It was the night where the Yes movement arrived. It would be fitting that if the miracle on Bourbon Street started there, why not the night Daniel Bryan makes his in-ring return for the first time in over 3 years. Why not? Let it be at the place where it all began for Daniel Bryan 4 years ago at WrestleMania 30 when he became the undisputed WWE Heavyweight Champion when he knocked off Batista and Randy Orton in a triple threat. Oddly enough, he fought twice in one night. Remember, he beat Triple H the first fight of the night of WrestleMania just to get the opportunity at the main event later that evening. So why not? Let it be at WrestleMania. But we won't know just yet. Well, we won't. Well, we're probably going to predict it's going to be Mania. But beyond Mania, that's another question to be for another day. And on top of that, I feel like WWE is going to be very protective of Daniel Bryan. Yes, he's active. Yes, he's coming back. But I think WWE is going to want to be very protective of Daniel Bryan, which means we might see him on occasional Smackdowns. We might see him wrestle on pay-per-views. But for all you fans that wants to see Daniel Bryan probably on a house show, the odds of that is going to be very slim to none. I'm going to be very honest with you. Pay-per-views and maybe a SmackDown Live here or there because they're going to want to protect Daniel out of respect for his wife and for his child. But whatever the case may be, tonight is a narration. Daniel Bryan, Grand Slam winner. Well, actually, yeah, he is. I think he is a Grand Slam winner. He's back in World Wrestling Entertainment, but more importantly, he is back on the active roster. Anthony Florio, I know you probably heard the news around 5 or 6 o'clock. The moment you heard it, and then tell me about this epic moment that started off SmackDown Live tonight.
Well, I'll tell you, MF. I couldn't believe it. I don't remember when I saw it, but when I saw your post, I mean, you're the one who reported it. I mean, yesterday I reported on Mark Henry being inducted into the Hall of Fame last night, or yesterday rather, during my lunch break at my work. But I think I was at my work when this went down, and when I saw it, I'm like, at first I thought this was fake news or something like that. I'm like, nah, this has got to be one of those silly kayfabe things that I see from time to time. But then when I saw it was from WWE, I'm like, oh my God, is this legitimate? I'm like, this is legitimate. I couldn't believe it. I mean, first thing I did, in my mind, I was doing maybe the biggest yes, yes, yes chant I ever did in my life. Even bigger than when Daniel Bryan won the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 30 4 years ago. Wow, 4 years already. Man, where did the time go? But nonetheless, I couldn't agree with you more, MF. Yes, it's the segment of the year for SmackDown Live, but MF, this was the segment of the year, period. Forget Monday Night Raw. This was the segment of the year. Much like his retirement speech, this was amazing. It was emotional. It came off like a special moment. It came from the heart. But more importantly, it was real. Not just any kind of real. It's a real that MF and I take very seriously. And one that MF started with John Cena years ago. Real, recognizing real.
Is a real recognizing real. Yep, absolutely.
It was once again Daniel Bryan speaking from the heart, allowing himself to be vulnerable and telling his story. And that is exactly why he has such an attachment and an amazing relationship with all of us in the not just in the WWE universe, but in the IWC as well. The man is an amazing babyface for all the right reasons. Now, MF, many years ago, you know, I used to have maybe the most dastardly heel characteristics back in the day. That's long gone now. Daniel Bryan has inspired me to be. If I was a professional wrestler today, I would want to be exactly like Daniel Bryan. I would want to be a mega over babyface for all the right reasons, like him. I mean, it's just like me when I'm at my church, you know? Whenever I get the opportunity, you know, to speak from my heart, that's exactly what I do. Daniel Bryan captures imaginations. He transcended a genre. And that's exactly what I want to do in my daily life. Not just in my church, but everywhere I go. I want to capture people's imaginations and I want to transcend genres. In the 3 years I've been going to my church, I think I've done exactly that. You have no idea how many imaginations I've captured in my short time there. I'm transcending a religion and a genre when I'm there. And for that, I am grateful. Thanks to Daniel Bryan, MF. The word grateful is a word that I use almost every day in my daily vocabulary. Especially at my church. There's no question about that. He has such an attachment. And let me tell you, what I would have given to have been there at the American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas tonight, to be there and say, hey, I'm grateful. I have his shirt. I'm not wearing it right now, but I bought that shirt. I believe WrestleMania 30. You know the story. And for him to be cleared for in-ring action, I mean, this is on its way to surpassing 30, MF. I think 30's on. I think when it comes to 30 being the greatest WrestleMania of all time, I think as of right now, it's on life support now. Because look at this. Look at this card, man. Look at the card from top to bottom. I mean, at least as of now, we have 2 dream matches. We might get a third if Cena and Taker goes down. But with Daniel Bryan coming in, and especially after what happened at the end of tonight's show, I think he will be at WrestleMania. He teased us. But I believe in my heart of hearts, MF. 4 years after capturing the imaginations and hearts of everyone and transcending a genre, when he had the greatest individual performance in WrestleMania history, the 5-star classic with Triple H, the near 5-star main event with Randy Orton and Dave Bautista, where he won the title. Man alive. Imagine what they're going to do when they see him back in the ring. I mean, there's only one place for his first match back to be. It has to be WrestleMania. It has to be. So with all that being said, yes, thank you, Bree. Indeed, I could not agree with that more. I mean, that beautiful angel, I'll tell you. Now, for years, I slammed the Bellas. I thought the Bellas were, you know what I thought about them. But in all honesty, I consider myself more of a Brie guy because she has that, you know, that girl next door kind of thing. That's what I like. But she did it, man. That's a support system. That's a wife right there. That is a support system, and that's what I want. I am hopeful that I get to have something like that whenever I find the one. Although, you know my story, MF, as of right now. So we're just going to leave it there. We'll park it there. So there's absolutely no, I don't think there's anything else we need to say, man. I mean, the retirement speech will forever be the greatest thing in history. But this was the segment of the year. Not just SmackDown Live, but in WWE altogether. Forget SmackDown Live. Forget. This was freaking awesome. Thank you, Daniel Bryan, for allowing us to share that with you. That's what a big face does. And if I was, like I said, if I was a wrestler nowadays, that's who I'd want to model my game after. I don't ever want to be a heel again. That's all there is to it. I want to stay a face. I want to go out as one and go into the Hall of Fame as one. Thank you, Daniel Bryan, for the inspiration. Thank you very much, and thank you so much, man, for Bryan. And like you've always said, we are grateful. In closing, MF, I know we got more to get into, but he said something tonight that really stood out to me. Mm-hmm. On my Facebook with everybody. He said this: if you fight for your dreams, then your dreams will fight. Period. And the statement and the quotation. We're grateful. MF, move on.
Yeah. And you would really think after a moment like that, continue Smackdown Live, because because like I said, the first 15 minutes was so mind-boggling and just so powerful. How do you try to top it? Well, SmackDown Live needs to try, and they try to put a good effort on this. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Rusev 1-on-1. Nakamura wins the match at 9 minutes and 33 seconds. AJ Styles is down at ringside, and after the fight, Rusev and Aiden English try to do a 2-on-1 beatdown. Now, AJ kind of took his time, took his jacket off, handed the WWE title to Corey Graves, who was, he was at the ringside, and it looked like he was going to try to jump in. But Nakamura was able to stop all, was able to get the upper hand, cleared the ring, and AJ looked at Nakamura like, whoa, all right, you didn't need my help. Okay, not bad. Well done. Good for you. So Anthony wants to talk about it, and that was very interesting. AJ very nonchalantly, it didn't look like it was very nonchalant by AJ Styles. It was like he was hoping that Nakamura was going to get beat down a little more. He was kind of stonewalling for a little bit,
showing some heelish tendencies, wouldn't you say?
I believe so. Yes.
As the heel commentator, I would have said, "This is smart. AJ's being a smart champion. Let Aiden English and Rusev wear Nakamura down, so AJ will have easy pickings with Nakamura at WrestleMania, and make the dream match a nightmare, if you know what I mean." But nonetheless, I can only give this about 2 to 2.5 at best. I mean, it was a pretty good match, but they didn't have the time to have a match at the quality of their Fastlane outing. The Fastlane bout was far better, if I'm going to be real honest, and it damn near stole the show. If it wasn't for if it hadn't been for that 6-pack main event, I mean, yeah, that would have been the fight of the night, honestly. But they're obviously setting up AJ to play the subtle heel role at Mania. I mean, honestly, I don't want them to turn either of them. I want to see these two go into this match as the mega over baby faces that they are. No doubt about this. I mean, we saw it with the Ultimate Challenge at WrestleMania 6, and you said it, MF. Well, I compared this to the Ultimate Challenge with AJ Styles as Hulk Hogan and Shinsuke Nakamura as the Ultimate Warrior, whereas you compared it to the Iron Man match at WrestleMania 12 with Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. Obviously, AJ as Bret Hart and Shinsuke Nakamura as Shawn Michaels. If they did the Iron Man match, forget it. We're looking at the greatest match in Mania history, bar none. Guaranteed. But I don't think we're going to get that. But if they were going to turn one of these guys, you have to turn AJ. I mean, AJ, we all know how damn good a heel AJ is and always has been. He was a great heel in TNA. He was a great heel in the WWE with the club and even on his own. The face that runs the place. So we'll see what happens with that. But for right now, I can only give this about 2 to 2.5. The absolute highest I could go is maybe 2 3/4, but I think 2 to 2.5 is the appropriate rating for this bout. I will say second best fight of the night. There was one match on this show tonight that I felt was a lot better and an easy choice for fight of the night. No question. So that's all I can say on that, MF. So your thoughts on Nakamura Rusev 2?
I agree with everything you said. This is at least a 2.5 star. A 2.5 star fight. I'm sorry. My thing froze there for a second. And it was a solid match, to say the very least. I think the storyline was very evident that, you saw Rusev and Aiden English trying to get Nakamura, try to beat them down, whatever. But I like the fact that AJ kind of stonewalled a little bit, It's like, well, I guess I'm going to have to save Nakamura now because, he kind of helped me last week. So, but he was like, I'm going to take my sweetheart time, give the belt to Corey Graves, and he was like kind of nonchalantly taking off the jacket. It was like he was just, just like waiting for the right time to do it. But then when Nakamura cleared the ring, he kind of looked at him like, oh, okay. So I guess you can defend yourself. All right, not bad. Come in. So at the end of the day, I mean, yeah, solid fight, good match, well done, with everybody involved. So we'll just move on. The next match of the evening is Baron Corbin versus Ty Dillinger. Baron Corbin wins the match at 4 minutes and 22 seconds. Ugh. All right, I'm gonna be a little harsh on this fight. I was hoping that the fight was gonna be a little better. And Dillinger kind of looked a little clumsy out there. It wasn't really one of the best matches of the evening. And I mean, even the I gotta say, even the end of days kind of yeah, I kind of felt like this looked like a train wreck, man. This was, and the thing is that the story was fine. The way that they were trying to develop it was pretty good. The thing that was the mistake, though, was that the execution of the fight was horrible. I mean, this had to be one of the worst matches on SmackDown Live in a very long time, and thus I gotta call worst fight of the night. This was definitely the worst fight of the evening, at least in my eyes. So, Anthony, go ahead if you want to take your hands on this one.
No comment. Move on.
Mm.
Sure, I cut out really.
Yeah, I could easily call the cutout too. This one we're not gonna call cutout. Actually, this one we might call fight of the night. Well, here it is. It was Natalya one-on-one with Charlotte Flair. Natalya gets the win because of the fact that Carmella ran out and it looked like she was about to cash in the Money in the Bank, but she never did. She gets kicked in the face by Charlotte, gets a big boot to the face. She never officially cashed it in. And then Natalya with the roll up of doom gets the 1, 2, 3. Big win for Natalya. But oh my goodness, we almost had a cash in tonight in Dallas. Anthony, fight of the night?
Fight of the night. Absolutely. This I said there was one other match I thought was better than Nakamura Rusev 2. This was it. 3 to 3.25 stars. I would have given it 3.5, but that clunky finish, I had to take a little bit of some style points away from that. But other than that, 3 to 3.25. Clunky early on, but it ended up an overall very good match. The cash-in tease was good, but Charlotte losing even via the fluke, I'm sorry, that was not a good move. I love Natalya, I really do, but Charlotte it should have been a win for Charlotte. I mean, I don't have a problem with them having a competitive match. I mean, we know what Charlotte and Natalya are capable of. We've seen instant classics in NXT and on the main roster. I mean, the match they had in NXT where, Bret Hart and Ric Flair were there. I mean, that will always be the best match those two ever had. Although you can make an argument for that amazing match they had back in November in the Queen City when Charlotte Flair won the SmackDown Women's Championship from Natalya with the figure eight. I mean, that was the SmackDown Women's Match of the Year. We all agree on that. But here, another very good match, but that clunky finish with Carmella teasing the cash in. Even though I didn't have a problem with it, I liked it. But Charlotte losing. I mean, Charlotte's going into the biggest match of her career ever. Bigger than any match she ever had with Sasha Banks or Bayley or anybody she ever had on Raw or SmackDown Live or on the main roster, NXT, period. Her match with Asuka is one of the two dream matches that we already have at WrestleMania, the other being obviously AJ and Nakamura. And if we get John Cena and The Undertaker, then hey, we get 3 dream matches at WrestleMania. But we've got 2 as of now, and Charlotte and Asuka is one of them. And you need to have. I mean, if we're gonna take Charlotte as the most serious threat to Asuka yet, they have to give her all the momentum that they can. Having her lose, even by nefarious means, still not the right way to go about it. Charlotte, I mean, like I said, the match was fine. I don't mind them having a competitive match. I'm all for it. But Charlotte should have honestly won here. Charlotte needs all the momentum she can get going into what will undoubtedly be the biggest match of her entire career against the Empress at WrestleMania for the SmackDown Women's Championship. We'll get into that, weeks down the road. But for right now, this was the fight of the night. It was 3 to 3.25. I was going to give it 3.5, but I had to bump it down to 3 to 3.25 because of that clunky finish. But other than that, another classic from Natalya and Charlotte. It's always fun when they get together, and tonight was no exception. The NXT match will forever be their best. The other, and number 2, obviously, the match in November in Charlotte when Charlotte won the title, that emotional moment with Ric Flair afterwards. So we'll never forget that for as long as we live. So nothing more to say. Fight of the night. MF, honestly, as great as the match was, Charlotte should have won, not Natty. Charlotte needed it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, if you remember, we were yelling at the pay-per-view that the one person that needed to win the tag team fight was Carmella. And yeah, I absolutely agree. This is one of those cases where you have to make Charlotte look really strong because she needs to be a formidable challenger to Asuka, even though Charlotte is the champion. And they actually did a really good job of highlighting Asuka here tonight on the show. There was a nice little video package about the Empress of Tomorrow, and they are definitely hyping Charlotte versus Asuka for WrestleMania, and SmackDown's really going for it. This is one of their marquee matches on the SmackDown end of WrestleMania. You need to do this. So at the end of the day, yeah, I absolutely agree with you, Anthony. They should have given Charlotte the victory and give her the momentum going to Mania. Natalya doesn't need it unless they're gonna try to do. They're trying to implicate her as a favorite for the upcoming WrestleMania Women's Battle Royale. Then okay, but you still have a lot of other people that you could have done with. I think that was a mistake. I think that was a bad move. I think it for once, SmackDown Live, I don't think really thought this through. The match was great. The execution was fine. Heck, even the cash-in looked smart and very sensible. But the ending, the it just left a bitter taste in our mouth, and that was not a good move, at least in my eyes. All right. So next up we had was a promo by the Usos, and they kind of cut it a quick little promo, and then we ended up with a match: Luke Harper versus Jimmy Uso, 1-on-1. Luke Harper wins the match. Okay, 2-for-1 biz. Nice promo by the Usos. I love it. I'm telling you guys, I love this day one ish attitude that they have. You know, they're not campy comedy. They're coming out in your face, right down the middle, and they're tweeners. They're not faces. They're not heels. They're right in between. They go to that line either or. They don't cross either line. So you can't really root for them one way or another. You don't know if they're heels or they're faces. But one thing's for sure: when they go in it, they look good. It's believable. It's in your face. Can it get a little offensive? You're damn right it can, but they don't care. They go for the jugular. And the thing is, it's one thing, and they've always been this since day one, since the beginning. It's always been the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, and they get in your face, and they'll preach how great they are. And sometimes the thing is that normally they always say action speaks louder than words. Let me tell you, they put the words in there and they back it up with their actions. There's no other tag team on SmackDown rosters right now, other than the New Day, and definitely the Bludgeon Brothers, who is really making a serious threat at the SmackDown Tag Team titles. And this is going to be one of the toughest challenges heading to WrestleMania, because it looks like it is going to be the Bludgeons versus the Usos in a one-on-one tag team warfare for the titles. But man, this is coming out really good. The Bludgeons are really coming wicked strong, wicked powerful, and for me, they are now the most legitimate threats to the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Uh, Bigger than the New Day, bigger than Benjamin and Gable. This team, Roman and Harper, is without a doubt the most compelling. And I gotta say it, if there's one team that can take the belts off the Usos, this is the team. This is the crew. I think we might have new champions at WrestleMania, Anthony. What do you say?
You think we're gonna have new champions, MF? No, we are gonna have new champions at WrestleMania. Don't just think. We will have new tag team champions. The Bludgeon Brothers at WrestleMania, if they make this official, will be your next SmackDown Tag Team Champions. And they're going to hold those things for as long as they want. There's no question about it. They are going to run roughshod over that tag team division. I mean, the Usos have had a nice run since Hell in a Cell. And I think that run ends at WrestleMania unless the Usos somehow pull out a fluke win, which is possible. It could happen. But yeah, that promo was amazing. I mean, as far as promos go, that was the second best of the night, obviously. Maybe even third. But as far as the match goes with Luke Harper and Jimmy Uso, I don't know if we're getting into that yet, or if this was just or if you're calling cutout on that, MF. I mean, what
Well, if you want to talk about the match, we can. I wasn't really gonna call cutout, but I was gonna give it maybe like 1.5 stars. But I mean, it's up to you.
Well, I just wanted to be sure. If you want me to get into it, I will. But yeah, you said 1 to 1.5. I'll actually give it 2 for the effort. I mean, it was only okay, but the booking was good. Keep the Bludgeons looking dominant heading into Mania. So that's all there is to say on that. But the promo I thought was much better than the match. So nothing really more to say here. If anything, I don't know if this segment should be considered a cutout. I kind of think it should, but MF, if you want to get into it, we can. I understand one of our WrestleMania matches has an indemnity in it, and an indemnity that I don't think a lot of people are going to be too thrilled about.
Yes, indeed. It was mentioned that actually this was an indemnit, and that was that Jinder Mahal I guess has been added to the United States Championship match at WrestleMania. So now it looks like it will be for the United States title at WrestleMania. Jinder Mahal versus Randy Orton. I don't think there's anybody else. I don't think did let me see. I'm trying to see if because did Bobby Roode implement rematch clause? I don't think he did.
You didn't see the show last week in that?
I didn't.
Bobby Roode invoked his rematch clause on Randy Orton.
Okay, so it is a triple threat. All right. So it is a triple threat at WrestleMania. So all right. Like you said, it's a cutout. We're not gonna go really too much into it. I mean, it was what it is. What it is. The next thing we had was Becky Lynch and Naomi versus the Riot Squad. Becky Lynch and Naomi gets the victory. So nothing. Anthony, do you want to talk about it, or it's up to you?
You can easily call cutout here. This I thought this was the worst fight of the night, honestly, because this was no rating to a dud. Quick match. I mean, it only had one goal, MF, and it was to announce that all four of these women will be in that WrestleMania Women's Battle Royals. So,
all right,
to say except now, let's get into a main event segment. If you thought last week was something, oh, this week, wow.
Yeah, it was. Daniel Bryan comes back out, and he was going to confront Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens for what happened. And first off, you know, it was that it looked like everything that went down. They talked about the personal vendetta that Shane McMahon had and how Bryan understood them and no one else. Sammy was like, you know what? He was trying to say that this is going to be the ultimate show. This is the ultimate dream team. Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn running SmackDown Live from now on. And they did talk about the beatdown last week and the injury that Shane McMahon suffered, and then Daniel Bryan, kind of, you know, he, with everything that was going on, and he actually dropped the hammer. He actually, he started to apologize to them, but he actually dropped the hammer, and I believe he fired them. He fired Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn from SmackDown Live. And, well, that led to a beatdown. Welcome back to WWE, Daniel Bryan. You just got destroyed by Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. But could this been the moment that might have ended the stalemate? Because remember, Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan has been arguing and fighting for a long time. Now they might have one common enemy. Two men, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Is it possible we might have Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon on the same team against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn at WrestleMania? I know the fans have been waiting for Daniel Bryan to get back. And could this actually happen? I say yes. I think the world's going to say yes. The beatdown was brutal. It was bad. And you kind of had a little bit of a worry because this was Daniel Bryan now. But I don't think he got severely hurt, which I'm kind of happy about. Is that he did hopefully he did not get hurt too badly because he got powerbombed on the apron. We all know Owens and that apron thing, devastating. So, Anthony Florio, if you thought the beginning segment was awesome, what do you think about this? How they ended the SmackDown Live tonight?
It's a case of 1A, 1B, MF. I can honestly say this was the second best segment of the night. I mean, can't touch. You really, honestly, cannot touch that first segment. You can't. But this came very close. I mean, this was an absolutely great angle to close out the show, with Daniel Bryan killing it again on another promo. The beatdown angle was great, with some really strong heel heat on Kevin and Sammy, and the place absolutely exploding as you would say, MF, the place coming unglued as Daniel Bryan got to lay in some of his signature offense, including those yes kicks, not it kicks, to a certain awesome one on my show. But anywho, Daniel looked so happy to be back in the ring and getting physical after so long. And the crowd treated the whole thing like the huge deal that it was. Yes, the heels stood tall again. Some will complain that Daniel got stretchered out on his first night back, but hey, it was 2-on-1, and he's been out for over 2 years. I think it made sense to me. So I think we can confirm, well, it's not official, but I think here tonight, you heard it here first. It's not going to be Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens one-on-one against each other at WrestleMania. No. We're gonna have, in the immortal words of Teddy Long, we're gonna have ourselves a tag team match. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan. Holla holla. That's what's gonna happen, MF. It's gonna be Shane O'Mac and Daniel Bryan putting aside their differences, teaming up against Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Book it. I've spoke my piece. Second best segment of the night. I would have said segment of the night, but that first one, MF, honestly, the immortal words of Hammer, you can't touch it.
No, you can't. Overall review time, Anthony, you get to lead off.
Very good. This is between 6 3/4 to a solid 7 out of 10. This week's episode of SmackDown Live was bookended by 2 great segments. Unfortunately, the middle of the show was rather average and bland, if I'm going to be real honest, with only minimal WrestleMania build. If short on time, catch the 2 segments, the opening and closing segments featuring Daniel Bryan, and I'll even throw in Charlotte, the Charlotte and Natty match. Those are the 3 things you really should take your time out to see. Because the Daniel Bryan segments, the opening and the closing, 2 of the better WWE segments of the year, hands down. So for me, I rank it between 6 3/4 to a solid 7 out of 10. So, no, you know what? I'm going to make it a solid 7 out of 10 because of Daniel Bryan alone. How do you follow that, MF? 7 out of 10 for me.
I agree. 7 out of 10. This was an excellent SmackDown Live. Yes, there was a little bit in the middle that was a little clunky, and that brings the rating down. However, the star of the show, the star of the night, the biggest story of the day was Daniel Bryan. And more importantly, the announcement that he's back in WWE. Well, not just back in WWE, but back on an active roster spot. What does that mean for the future of him being the general manager of SmackDown Live? We do not know. All we know is right now he will be fighting, he will be competing, and that soon down the line we will see him in a ring at possibly at WrestleMania. That's the earliest indication we're going to get. So there's really nothing more to say. Like I said, I'm not going to do a Mikey's Mindset because I believe this show alone needs to just be about SmackDown Live and what happened. I'll do a separate video on a Mikey's Mindset because I got some SEF news, some Anarchy news, which is away from that's completely different. So if you guys want to stick around for that, I'll do that either in a little while, or I might even do it tomorrow, sometime during the day, because I will be off. So keep your eyes on that. We got a big Strictly Sports show coming up. We got basically our rundown. We're going to have a lot of stuff going on. We got the NCAA tournament. We got some free agency in the NFL. And I mean, we got some big news with free agency in the NFL. We got some power rankings. We might have some live commentary too, because remember, we will be in the Sweet 16 on that night. And we got some big games coming out of Boston and Omaha, Nebraska, Anthony and my territories. Games that we're going to be very vast and interested in, to say the very least. And that's going to be going down at 10:30 Eastern. Of course.
Hold that, MF. Friday night, I've got another special Friday night service, so that might be a little bit later than you think.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough. So check your local listings, I guess is what we're going to say, for the time in your area.
Exactly.
Because we will not know for sure. Hopefully it's 10:30, but it kind of has a feeling it might be a little later. I think that's going to be the safest way to say it. Maybe 11, maybe 11:30. I don't know. We'll wait and see.
And there's one more note, MF. Michael Bullock, unfortunately, will not be joining us because, as you know, this weekend he's going to be taking part in that 24 hours super plunge for Special Olympics.
Super plunge. That's right. That's right.
All the rest he can get. So he's going to be awake for 24 hours in a row. So he needs all the rest he can get.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be myself and Anthony Florio. We're going to be running it. Big NFL free agency moves. Of course, Jose Altuve signing a big extension with the world champion, Houston Astros. We're going to preview the Major League Baseball season. We're going to have the recap from the first 2 games, or the first 4 games of the Sweet 16, the Thursday coverage, the preview of we're going to go through the current games that's during the Sweet 16 from Omaha and Boston, and then the preview. And hopefully the games will end early, or once we get the games in final, then we will complete preview of the Elite 8 matchups. Of course, live commentary if it's needed, and the NBA power rankings to end it. So with that said, we're going to have a lot on the docket on Friday night. But because it's Good Friday, please, guys, please note, keep your eyes peeled on all social media platforms, because that's probably going to be the best way you're going to see it. Facebook, Twitter, whatever. Once we get it, then we'll go from there. So, all right, guys. So that's it for the night. For Anthony Florio, I'm Michael Fletcher. Have a good night, everybody, and so long for now. Bye-bye.